David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.
Tonight, the breaking news just as we come on, the man arrested on President Trump's golf course and what's just been revealed tonight. Also, this massive explosion and fire burning in New York City, turning deadly now. Firefighters injured. First tonight, the president's golf course. That suspect arrested. ABC News has now learned he is a Marine veteran. Authorities say he was at the president's Los Angeles County golf course twice leading up to the president's visit. Allegedly found with ammo, a loaded pistol, a phone number connected to the White House. At his home, investigators say a modified AR-15 style rifle. And what authorities have now revealed tonight will go live to Los Angeles. Meantime, breaking here in New York City, a deadly explosion and huge fire breaking out in an apartment building. Still burning at this hour, several firefighters hurt. Aaron Katersky standing by tonight. Also breaking, the alarming discovery, a drone loaded with explosives found near a plane at an airport used by the U.S. and our allies to help Ukraine. Tonight, authorities calling this a serious security-related incident, warning of potential attack scenario and what we know so far. Tonight in Washington, the FAA now investigating a safety incident involving President Trump on Marine One. Why was there a passenger plane flying so close and at the same time? Tonight, the political shockwave in the Michigan primary. The progressive Democrat wins. His new message tonight responding to new Republican attacks already. Tonight, the horrific road rage incident. Now the arrest in just moments ago. Attempted murder charges. The man with a bloody face facing charges after a crash, and police say then a violent attack. Tonight, an out-of-control Tesla crashing through a wall and into multiple homes. Dramatic images showing the moment a house explodes into a ball of flames. That explosion turning deadly. Tonight, targeting America's water supply. ABC News now learning at least 2 more water facilities have been hit by cyber attacks. What sources are now telling ABC News who they believe is behind this. A truck driver hauling cars, losing control, slamming into an apartment building, multiple injuries tonight. The gene-edited beagle tonight, and what scientists say this could mean for millions of dog owners. The news involving Barry Manilow tonight, the announcement just before showtime. And just in tonight, the new images of Jackie the bald eagle after the rescue.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with the breaking news. The massive fire burning in New York City turning deadly. Also news just in tonight on the alleged suspect arrested at President Trump's golf course in Los Angeles County. Tonight, ABC News now confirming he's a Marine veteran. Secret Service agents say he was at the golf course twice in the days leading up to the president's arrival. The suspect allegedly spotted taking photos and video of Trump National Golf Club, appearing to monitor security operations there. Authorities now revealing the suspect was found with ammo in his pocket and a loaded 9mm pistol. Sources say he also had a phone number connected to the White House. At his home, investigators say they found an illegally modified AR-15 style rifle and body armor. And tonight here, what else they found at that home. ABC's Kayna Whitworth leading us off tonight from Los Angeles.
Tonight, ABC News learning the armed man arrested at Trump National Golf Club outside Los Angeles is a Marine Corps veteran and visited the club twice just days before the president's high-profile visit this week. And sources say the suspect had written down a public phone number and address connected to the White House.
This is an active investigation. We're going to go through his digital devices and we're going to go through all of his writings that we've recovered.
Authorities say they searched the home of 38-year-old Janine John Taylor and found an illegally modified AR-style rifle and a pistol, along with body armor, radio signal devices, and a badge seen here reading Agent, Fugitive Recovery, Bail Enforcement. Agents also recovering multiple notebooks containing what officials described as concerning statements.
Some of the things they saw was he was taking very detailed surveillance notes of his activities there at the golf course.
Authorities now say the suspect first visited the golf club last Friday, wearing an earpiece and taking photographs and videos of the federal agent's security planning activities. The suspect visiting Trump's golf club again Sunday, when officials say he told federal agents he worked for the State Department and was at the course for a security detail, claiming he had a loaded gun in his car. Those federal agents calling local law enforcement who took Taylor into custody and say they found a 16-round magazine containing hollow point ammunition in his pocket and a loaded 9mm pistol, binoculars, and another badge that read Security Protection Agent in his car. Tonight, that suspect facing federal and state firearm charges as investigators search for a motive.
And David, ABC News now confirming that suspect served 2 tours in the Middle East with the Marines. And while authorities have not directly linked this suspect to the president, they're calling this more than a coincidence. And sources familiar with these alleged writings call some of them nonsensical. David.
Kayna Whitworth leading us off here tonight. Kayna, thank you. Also breaking here in New York City at this hour, a massive explosion and fire turning deadly in the Bronx. Multiple firefighters injured as well. The fire breaking out in an apartment building, still burning at this hour. More than 300 firefighters remain on the scene. Let's get right to Aaron Katersky with the images coming in tonight. Aaron?
David, this fire went to 5 alarms. It did take hundreds of firefighters hours to bring it under control. And just a moment ago, the FDNY said that they found 1 person dead inside the wreckage. The fire started just before 12:30 in the afternoon at a 5-story residential building in the Norwood section of the Bronx, where flames and smoke were seen shooting from the windows. People there said they felt a blast. The FDNY said there was some sort of explosion that blew window frames clear across the street and apartment doors right off their hinges. In addition to the 1 person that was killed, 14 people sustained injuries, including a half-dozen firefighters. And David, the cause of the fire is under investigation tonight.
Aaron Katersky with late reporting. Aaron, thank you. Tonight, the alarming discovery, a drone loaded with explosives found near a plane at an airport used by the U.S. and our allies to help Ukraine. Tonight, authorities in Germany calling this a serious security-related incident, warning of a potential attack scenario. Tonight, you'll see the images of that explosive drone and what we know so far. Here's Soufi Burridge.
Tonight, a major security scare at a busy German airport, where officials say they discovered a drone packed with explosives near this Ukrainian cargo jet in a potential plot to sabotage the aircraft. A bomb squad carefully combing the scene. German police now analysing these images, which they say show a drone fitted with an explosive device and detonator found at the Leipzig airport Tuesday night. Authorities immediately closing down all runways, deploying a bomb-disposing robot to disable the drone, which was located in a cargo area separate from the passenger terminal. Moments later, police say a DHL cargo plane struck a second unidentified object near that same airport after reporting its landing amid the security scare. The DHL aircraft sustaining minor damage. That incident now also being investigated. Leipzig Airport is a crucial cargo hub in eastern Germany, used by the US and other NATO allies to supply Ukraine with military equipment. American officials say the airport has been the target of multiple suspected Russian sabotage operations. At least 18 drone incidents have disrupted air traffic there since January. Tonight, German authorities say this incident represents a new threat scenario and involves a high level of technical expertise.
And David, tonight US officials say American intelligence is assisting the investigation, examining components of that drone packed with explosives and calling this a serious and concerning possible escalation linked to Russia's war on Ukraine. David?
All right, Soufi Burridge with us tonight. Tom, thank you. Meantime, back here in the U.S. and Washington tonight, the FAA is now investigating a safety incident involving President Trump on Marine One. Why was there a passenger plane flying so close and in the air over the nation's capital at the same time? Here's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, the FAA and NTSB are investigating why this passenger jet was allowed to take off from Reagan National Airport near D.C. Tuesday, moments before President Trump took off from the White House on Marine One when airspace should have been cleared. The 2 aircraft breaching the FAA's minimum safe distance protocol.
Tower, just want to make sure you copy Marine One, 3 minutes to lift.
Prior to takeoff, air traffic control audio capturing Marine One's pilots, giving controllers multiple 3-minute warnings, which under standard protocol would prompt controllers to then pause commercial traffic at Reagan. But during Tuesday's departure, controllers appearing not to hear that critical 3-minute warning, one even mentioning the lack of advance notice.
Marine One, you said you're proceeding as briefed? National Tower, that's Marine One, proceeding as briefed. Okay, no 3 minutes, Roger, proceed as briefed.
The two aircraft momentarily coming within 1.5 horizontal miles and 500 vertical feet of each other, violating the FAA's safe distance procedures. And David, the FAA says that the two aircraft were never on a collision course and that President Trump was never in danger. But obviously, the fact that a passenger jet took off when the airspace should have been cleared raises very serious concerns here. David.
Gio Benitez with us tonight. Gio, thanks. Tonight, the political earthquake in the Michigan Senate primary, the progressive Democrat winning in a race closely watched across this country. Well, his new message tonight, responding to new Republican attacks coming already. Here's Jay O'Brien now.
Abdul al-Sayed!
Tonight, the political earthquake in Michigan. Dr. Abdul al-Sayed winning the Democratic nomination in the country's most watched Senate primary. A major victory for progressives, but now comes the hard part. Today, al-Sayed setting out to unite Democrats and independents around their shared interests.
If you believe like me that you ought to be able to afford your groceries, if you believe like me that you ought to be able to afford your home, if you believe like me that your tax dollars ought to be invested in you rather than sent somewhere else, I hope that you'll join this movement now.
Al-Sayed's former opponent, Congresswoman Haley Stevens, quick to endorse him, calling him a dedicated Michigander, adding, "I am proud to offer my support." But his Republican rival, former Congressman Mike Rogers, calls Al-Sayed something else, an extremist.
This is really about the heart and soul of our country. I have never seen someone so radical, so extreme, get nominated by a political party.
President Trump on the attack.
Abdul al-Sayed, lovely gentleman. He's a man of hate.
Trump branding al-Sayed a communist. The candidate is backed by some of the country's leading socialists, but he insists he's a capitalist himself. And tonight he's making it clear he's ready for the attacks, including any aimed at his ethnicity or his Muslim faith.
They're going to point at me, they're going to point at my name. It's like, well, he's different. That's the best you got? You can't actually talk about what you want to do? My name is not raising your gas prices. My name is not taking us to war. My name is not the reason you can't afford your groceries. You know what it is? Their BS policies.
And David, tonight this critical race is already kicking into high gear. Abdul al-Sayed has challenged Mike Rogers to 5 televised debates tonight. We asked the Rogers campaign if they accept, and they declined to comment. David.
Jay O'Brien live on the Hill for us. Jay, thanks. We turn now to a horrific road rage incident near San Diego. Tonight, the arrest, and just moments ago, attempted murder charges now after a crash, and police say then a violent attack. Here's Melissa Adon.
Tonight, this man with the bloody face facing attempted murder charges after authorities say a car crash on a Southern California off-ramp turned into a violent road rage attack, leaving 2 people hospitalized. Officials say it happened just after 7 Sunday night when this black truck rear-ended a white Chevy Silverado, stopped at a red light off Interstate 5 in Carlsbad, north of San Diego. Both drivers exiting their vehicles and coming to blows before the driver of the black truck, identified by police as 49-year-old Orlando Chavez, attacked the 22-year-old woman inside the other car. Moments later, Chavez moves to the passenger side, where police say he stabbed the 27-year-old man inside several times.
At that moment, I realized we have to do something about this.
The white truck finally able to get away when a bystander blocked the intersection with his car. Officers coming to the couple's aid just blocks away from the scene.
There was a person on scene over here. I gave them my shirt. They put the shirt over the wound.
David, that driver just faced a judge where he pleaded not guilty and he was denied bail. Now prosecutors say the person that was stabbed is still in the ICU, and it's a miracle they survived that brutal attack. David.
Just an awful story, Melissa. Thank you. Tonight, a frightening scene in Orange County, California. An out-of-control Tesla crashing through a wall and right into multiple homes. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, a trail of destruction in a Southern California neighborhood after police say an out-of-control Tesla crashed through a brick retaining wall and into homes.
He had to be going at least in the Tesla, you know, they're quick. He must have been going 100 miles an hour.
Investigators say the 22-year-old driver suffered a medical emergency and lost control. Car careening some 20 feet down that embankment, slamming into multiple homes and crashing through this garage door. This is what it looked like from the inside. Debris shattering windows, and on one home there were tire marks spotted 10 feet up. It happened just after midnight in Orange County, California, near Los Angeles. Authorities say first responders had to pull the driver from the car, but he was not seriously hurt from the crash. And while many people were in the homes at the time, none of them were injured.
David, it's not clear what that medical emergency was, but investigators say they don't believe the driver was impaired and this was not the result of Tesla's autopilot mode. The investigation is ongoing. David.
Trevor Ault in Los Angeles. Trevor, thanks. Tonight, the home explosion turning deadly in southern Illinois, at least one dead. The entire neighborhood rocked by the blast. And here's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, authorities in southern Illinois investigating this deadly home explosion. The blast rocked an entire neighborhood in the town of Energy, Illinois, just after 7 p.m.
We have got a fully engulfed, full house explosion. Debris everywhere. We got a male who was sitting down and was blown out of his chair.
It shook literally, like you can see the windows broke right here. The windows on the back of the house broke. You can see up here and damaged up there. All right here, bro. It shook the whole car. Debris. I literally saw debris flying everywhere.
First responders racing to the scene, flames erupting from an open gas line as they combed through the wreckage, finding one person dead and multiple other buildings in the neighborhood damaged.
And David, investigators with the Sheriff's Office and Illinois State Fire Marshal are working to determine what sparked this blast. David?
Morgan Norwood reporting for us. Thanks, Morgan. Tonight, growing concern over America's water supply being targeted. ABC News has learned at least 2 more water facilities have been hit by cyber attacks. Now at least a dozen states hit. And tonight, sources telling ABC News it appears Iran may have been laying the groundwork for attacks like these well before the war started. An intelligence note reviewed by ABC News indicates there were nearly 500 attempted intrusions in a 46-minute window back on November 24th, months before the war started. Authorities maintain there's no evidence public drinking water supplies anywhere in the country have been placed at risk. We'll, of course, stay on this. When we come back here tonight, the horrific case. A 15-year-old dressed as a clown has now been arrested and accused of murder. A truck driver hauling cars losing control, slamming into an apartment building. There are reports tonight of multiple injuries and what we know. The news coming in this evening involving Barry Manilow tonight. The announcement just before showtime and what we've learned. And tonight here, the gene-edited beagle. What scientists say this could mean for millions of dog owners. A lot more news ahead. We'll be right back. Tonight, a 15-year-old in East St. Louis, Illinois is under arrest. Police say the teen killed a 78-year-old man while dressed in a clown costume. Police looking at images from a doorbell camera showing someone dressed in a clown costume at that front door. Police say the victim was found in the road. Tonight, at least 3 people were hurt when a semi-truck slammed into an apartment building. This was outside Los Angeles. The truck carrying 8 vehicles causing severe damage to the building. Over a dozen people were displaced from their homes. Tonight, the moment a passenger train with 500 people on board crashed through a trailer. This is Poland. The trailer stopped on the tracks at a crossing, the train going straight through it. The train's driver had minor injuries. No passengers were actually hurt. The railway line says the tractor driver was drunk at the time. When we come back here tonight, the news coming in on Barry Manilow tonight, just before his concert. And then just in this evening, you'll want to see this, the images of Jackie the bald eagle. These images after she's been rescued. To the index of other news tonight, the gene-edited beagle making news. Researchers say dog lovers who suffer from allergies might be helped by this. Scientists have used a gene-editing technique to create 2 beagles that they say won't trigger an allergic reaction in humans. Scientists say more research is needed. We've learned tonight that Barry Manilow postponed his concert in Lexington, Kentucky last night, just before showtime. The 83-year-old who revealed his lung cancer diagnosis in December cited unforeseen circumstances. His farewell tour is set to take him to Cincinnati tonight. Of course, let's hope he's well. When we come back here tonight, just in this evening, the new images of Jackie the bald eagle sent by her care team right after she was rescued. Tonight here, America Strong. And just in this evening, the new images of Jackie the bald eagle after the rescue. Tonight, just before we came on the air here, news on Jackie the bald eagle being cared for by that team of veterinarians after being rescued from the water. Mom and Dad, Jackie and Shadow, capturing the world's attention on that Nest Cam. The nonprofit Friends of Big Bear Valley tracking them and their growing family with a 24-hour solar-powered camera in the San Bernardino National Forest. You'll remember it was just over 2 weeks ago Jackie was struggling, saved from the water after what researchers believe was a territorial dispute with 2 other eagles. Jackie was raced to Ojai Raptor Center, admitted as patient 26519, and given round-the-clock care. She's anemic, And tonight, just in, her team now sharing these images. They say Jackie has undergone advanced diagnostics, a CT scan, a bone marrow biopsy, and you see her right there in her care team's arms. Tonight, they say she's responding well after anesthesia, and she's now back in recovery. Their most hopeful moment yet amid this tenuous recovery for Jackie. Well, so many are pulling for Jackie the Bald Eagle. Of course, we're grateful to her team. I'm David Muir. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night. From all of us here, good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.